Change can be exciting. It can also be a little bit nerve-wracking, but change sometimes has to happen, especially with major shifts in our field. And so at Long Beach, the faculty have come together in our nutrition and food science area and have decided to totally rehaul our programs to make them more responsive to the needs of our students and our future students who want to become registered dietitian nutritionists. So this video is for seniors that are DPD students. This is who this video applies to, and I'm going to just talk through some of the changes that are coming to all of our programs so that you're informed and then can also inform others. Okay, so before I start, I have to say that everything I'm sharing has been preliminarily approved by Ascend. Those are like our accrediting people that oversee all education of dietetic programs. They've said this is good, but we won't have final approval until likely summer 24. So there's an asterisk on everything that I share that if for some reason the approval is delayed, then our timeline could be slightly delayed. But the programs that we're pursuing will continue. So right now, if you want to become a dietitian, the traditional model is you come and you get your BS from a DPD. That's what you're doing right now if you're a senior. And when you graduate, you're going to get a DPD verification statement. You have to have that verification statement if you want to go on to a dietetic internship. But now that we have 2024, you now also need a graduate degree if you want to sit for the RD exam. So this has kind of shifted the timeline and made it a lot longer to become a dietitian. Unfortunately, there's all kinds of barriers because each step of having a verification statement, getting into the internship and getting into the graduate degree program and the time is a barrier for folks. And so one of the things that we're shifting to is a new model of training registered dietitians. So the new approach is approved by Ascend, that's the dietetic training accrediting body. And instead of being called a DI or a dietetic internship, it's called a GP. It's the graduate program model. You can get into this program with any bachelor's degree and the appropriate prerequisite coursework. So for those of you that have done a DPD, you will have well exceeded the coursework, but there will be a series of all kinds of classes that you need to have to be approved for this program. And then when you get into this, it's similar to an internship in that you still have your 1,000 hours of supervised practice, but it's going to be competency based and it's going to be evaluated similar to medical residency training programs and other health professional programs similar to nursing and other disciplines where as long as you have the classes, you can get into these programs and you're learning and gaining the hours right on the spot while you're getting that graduate education. So the big changes that are coming here at Long Beach are that we are closing our DPD. Our last new incoming class is fall 2023. So this coming fall, those will be the last students who after their 2 years will receive a verification statement. Anyone that's already in the program is going to be kind of grandfathered in. If you're already a DPD student, if you're going to take through fall, let's say, you're fine, but we're not accepting any new students into our program after fall of 2023. What we'll be converting to is a standard Bachelor of Science in Nutrition and Food Science that will not be a DPD. So we will no longer be accredited. We will no longer be offering a verification statement. The reason for that is that won't be necessary to be admitted into our new graduate program model. And what we're going to be doing is we're closing the combined DI-MS that we've traditionally been offering at Long Beach, and that's going to be converted into the GP, which is an accelerated graduate program that results in both a master's degree and readiness to sit for the RD exam. This program is accelerated. It is 19 months long, and it has a start in January and ends the following summer. So it's not like the traditional, match in spring, start in fall. In fact, there's no matching at all. We're not participating in the match. It'll be a really different way of kind of getting into our program. So how a GP is different from a dietetic internship and an MS. One of the big things is that it's at an accelerated pace. So it's 19 months long versus 2 years. You're not in an internship anymore. This is graduate school all the way through, which is helpful for funding. And it's also a different shift in terms of how you're interacting with your preceptors. Nobody else is going to be an intern anymore. You're not in an internship. You are in a graduate program. You won't need a verification statement, like I mentioned before, as long as you have the prereqs, which include sciences, intro nutrition, life course nutrition, biochemistry, a few other things that anyone with a nutrition degree would already have. You can apply for this program. For future, we will be having a blended track for future undergraduate students who will be able to apply in advance while they're students to get into this track more quickly. That doesn't apply to you now, but that's something that we're looking at for future students. Another thing that's cool and unique about the GP is it will have special emphasis options. We'll have options in community nutrition, sports nutrition, and media and communications, which will affect the elective courses that you can take, as well as elective rotations and your thesis or your capstone. We are not requiring a thesis. This is another change. So this graduate program, you can do a capstone project, or if you want a research emphasis, you can do a thesis, but it looks a little bit different from the standard Master of Science that we currently offer. So in terms of timeline, I have this will be in your handouts too. I know this is a little bit small. You'll be able to see incoming and outgoing programs. Basically what's happening is we are closing all of our current accredited programs and starting these new incoming programs. So let me zoom in here. Oops. So you can see here, we have our MSDI. We are not accepting any more applications for that program. The last cohort has already been accepted this spring of 23, the last match cycle. That program is not accepting any more students. Its final cohort's beginning this fall and will complete their rotations and be finished in spring of 25. Again, like the DPD, the last new cohort of DPD students will be incoming this fall. Again, if you're already in the program and you're grandfathered in, you will receive a verification statement, but we won't be offering it beyond to new students who come after fall of 2023. And then after these 2 years, we will no longer be offering the DPD verification statement or those classes. That program will close. Additionally, our ISB, which is housed inside the DPD, it's going to have one more cycle in spring 23, and then admit students who can begin in fall, and then that cohort will end in spring 25. So all 3 of our current programs will be closing, or I like to say sunsetting. They're going to be moving on after spring of 25. No new students can be admitted into our internship at this time. So for our new programs, if you're interested in applying to Long Beach's program, for the GP, which the new BS doesn't really apply to you as seniors, but if you're interested in our GP, the process right now is that we're going through review and accreditation this next year. We're hoping to have accreditation approved by summer of 24. That means this coming spring cycle, there will not be any matching or DICUS or anything related to Long Beach because the MS is closed and the GP is still waiting to be opened. And it also wouldn't be starting in the fall anyway, it'd be starting in January in the spring. So our timeline is, hopefully, assuming everything goes well, our first application cycle will open in fall of 2024. I will be the director of this new program, which is very exciting. So I will be directing the GP and transitioning from my role as DPD ISB director and then overseeing this new GP. So our application cycle will open in fall of 2024, and our first cohort, probably between 15 and 20 students, our very first cohort will start in January 25. And then we'll continue accepting students. Our cohort sizes will get larger each time because we're approved for cohorts eventually up to 50 students, but we're not going to start there, but that will eventually, we'll start there. And then eventually we'll start admitting a small number of students from our bachelor's degree program directly in to the GP so that they can kind of move right on through without having to go through more application processes. If you're curious, you can spend some time looking. I have a sneak peek of what our curriculum is going to look like. Year 1 of our GP is going to be all in-seat, traditional, on-site coursework, combined with hands-on learning from the very beginning. We'll start doing rotations by summertime, so you have a lot of practice-oriented coursework at the beginning, and then kind of pushing on through into the summer, fall, winter. You're really getting your rotations, which are going to be called supervised experiential learning. You're getting that learning throughout the program, not all your classes, all your rotations. It's more kind of mixed together. you can see some cool stuff that we've included. Culturally sensitive nutrition counseling. We're going to be addressing nutritional genomics, pharmacology, supplements, talking about people, budgets, and problems in food settings. And we also will have a sustainability and food systems class. This is year 1. Year 2, we're going to be having year 2 be a distance option, meaning that all the courses will be online for year 2, and that students will have the option to do their supervised experiential learning anywhere in the state of California, so that they have more options. And it also expands our opportunities for accepting more students in our cohort, because the biggest limitation to having a large size of students who want to be dietitians is that we just are limited in the number of relationships we have with other sites. So this is a way that we can expand that. And we've learned a lot by doing ISBE, which is fully distance. We know how to do that already. So year 2 is distance option. You could still be local, do all your stuff locally, but all of these classes will be online. Our final classes will be a grant writing class. We have a career success class, which is very similar to the kind of stuff that we do here in 498A and B. I think that stuff is really important, right? Learning about how to get jobs as dietitians, work well in professional settings. You'll have your capstone project or thesis, depending on what you choose to do. And then you'll finish out your time getting those additional hours in your different settings. And like I mentioned before, there is that special emphasis. So, in your special emphasis, if you chose sports nutrition or community or media and communications, you'd be able to kind of build some special areas in those rotation times as well. So if you're freaked out and you're like, oh my gosh, I might be behind, this is going to change my trajectory. I thought I was going to be applying for the internship in spring and it's not going to be there. Deep breath. I know it's overwhelming, and there's no easy time to do change. And so my encouragement to you is to consider thinking about what your plans A, B, and C are. Keep your options open. And if you're interested in our program, we're working on building out our website right now. This is the link to the future website for the GP. And we also have a listserv that you can sign up for today if you wanted to. And this will make sure that you get emails about the new GP information once it's approved, once we're starting to accept applications. If we have any updates on the program, I would encourage you to sign up for that so you're in the know. And again, I would use a non-Long Beach address if you're not going to be checking Long Beach anymore. I also am going to have some PDF documents posted on Beachboard that you can look at if you're a senior in 498B, so that you're able to get a sense of, more about the new incoming program and what the changes are going to look like. So I'm happy to answer your questions as we get through and we start moving along with transitioning the programs. But hopefully it's exciting, because I think that this is going to open up a lot more opportunity for people to enter the field and also reduce barriers, because our hope is that our cohort sizes will be a lot larger. So eventually 50 students a cohort, so 100 at any given time, which would really expand our field and would be, I think a really wonderful thing for, promoting dietetics across our area. So that's all I've got. Feel free to reach out if you have questions, and I look forward to keeping you updated if you get on that listserv.